All right, everybody out there in the Craftchest Nation, it is time to do a little unboxing, which I've already prepped a little bit, just for time restraints, just so we don't have to sit here and watch me struggle with, cutting all things and not showing things or whatever. I went ahead and cut into the wire box because that is usually where they put, whenever you buy multiple things, the goodies, which is what you see here. We got that Down4Sound shop t-shirt. This one actually has a good logo on it. The other one just said Down4Sound. You couldn't really see it on the blue shirt, which is this one right here. I think I would have done the static in a different color. I don't know, like bright yellow, white, something. But that black, I mean, I guess you can see it. But if you want a shameless self-promote and go for the gusto, I would have done that in a different color. But this one says you can't buy happiness, but you can buy bass. And that is indeed correct. Of course, you get that free lanyard. You get that that voltmeter. Whenever you spend enough money, this is what they give you. And of course, you get that sucker because you're a sucker for buying my stuff. So let me kick this to the side right quick and get this shirt kicked to the side. And let's get off in this box. And once again, for time restraints, went ahead and cut open a couple of things. First of all, this right here, this is our A&L fuse block, the certified bass head fuse block. I went ahead and got a 250 amp fuse. We're going to put this one on the line coming from the front of the car to the batteries on that 0 gauge. And I have another one just like this that we're going to be putting on to what's down here below. But before we get to that, let's go and show you some of this wire. This is some of that brand new OFC wire from Down4Sound. This is the 8 gauge that we're going to be using on the subwoofers, and I'm still up in the air on which subwoofers I'm going to be getting, but there you go. See how beefy that is. 100% OFC, Down4Sound shop. Of course, it's plastered all over it. And I ended up going with, as you can see here, the black and green wire. See if I can get this up close so you can get a good look at it. Went ahead with the black and green. Alright. There's how big this is. Some beefy wire for the subwoofers. No matter which ones we go with, we're going to be adding this 8 gauge in. I ended up getting like 10 feet of this right now. That should be enough because we're only going to be running either 2 or 4 for the time being. Plus I have some 10 gauge over here that we can use on the smaller subs if we don't end up using that. This is for the big subs if I get some big subs. Alright, so along with that, we ended up getting 6 feet of each. This is going to be pairing off the batteries and the amplifier where I have it pretty much laid out in the back. And if I need more, I'll buy more. But right now, we're going to start off with this. And green once again because I'm kind of thinking I want to go with a Borg theme in the back of the car from the back seat to the trunk in the Raptor liner. Because we are going to be tearing everything out here in the next couple of weeks. Sanding it down, getting it prepped out and ready for some Raptor inside the car. And I'm thinking I'm going to go with the green. Plus, it's a shout out to Guntoad, which is one of my #1 supporters out there. Not the only one, but his favorite color is green. So, hey, you can't go wrong with green. And we have the just the offsets for positive, negative and on here, however we want to do it. So there you go. And that's pretty much what's in this box right here. So let's kick this to the side and show you the Warp Core. Oh yeah, here is the Down4Sound shop amplifier, and yes, there is a glare on here. I'll turn it around so you can read it, and I'll turn it up a little bit right here. You got the Down4Sound shop, the JP23 right here, and of course it comes with the bass knob. And you know what, as silly as it may sound, I bought this amplifier because of that bass knob. And let me show you this bass knob. What did it even? Oh, it's in the box. Okay, I put it back in here because I was wondering why it was in the priority mailbox, but I actually took this and opened it up, and I had a peek already. And this thing is beefy. Let me tell you something. This was already open. I guess that's why the bass knob wasn't in the box where it's supposed to be over here. But this thing is some type of beefy. Folks, I don't know how much this weighs. It's got to be 20 pounds. This is a good, and I may be wrong. It may be just 20 pounds in my mind, but it feels like a good 20 to, oh my God, that might even be heavier than that. All right, but here's the amplifier. Let me kick it to the side. Of course, here's the bass knob. Here's your Cat 5 line. All right, basic Cat 5 line. And if this breaks or anything, you can go out and get you some Cat 5 and use that. Now let me put this to the side here, and we'll show you that in just a moment. And I want to close the box and kick it to the side just for glare purposes, because I noticed whenever I went to fire it up and show this the first time, there was a glare on it. So this is actually take 2. All right, and let's pull this up out of here. Of course, plastic and bag everything. I bet you that's something he learned from Sundown Audio, is bag everything. So here we go, the Down4Sound shop JP23, and this is that's a pretty amp. I like it. It's clean. A little throwback to some of the old school, as he even has stated. There's a couple of different amplifiers that people have pointed out that this kind of looks like an Alpine, and another one American something, not American bass, but American, I don't know, maybe it is American bass, I don't know, American amps or whatever, or USA amps. Is that what it was? I don't know. But Alpine look here, and to me, these fins are kind of a shout out to Delta Sonic and Alpha Sonic from back in the day. That's what this reminds me of. But this went all the way around the amp. It's kind of like a DP200 to me. So this is a nice, slick, old school look of an amplifier. Of course, on this end, and I'm going to be careful throwing this thing around. Of course, on this end, we have the 8 gauge subwoofer leads here, and over here we have the 0 gauge inputs. Do have ferrules for those also. The 8 gauge, because everybody needs 8 gauge. This is something that points out, and I've always found this funny too. 8 gauge remote. I have no clue why we can't get away from getting 8 gauge. I'm gonna mess around and put it in my bill. I'm gonna have 8 gauge remote lead. I'm just gonna do it for shits and giggles. It's gonna happen. Just go ahead and look for that. On this side, of course, you'll have your Tiffany style inputs for your RCAs. And what sets these apart from all others is you can just see the quality. They have that turn nut to tighten them up on both sides, and they just look different. They look like quality. That's why people call them Tiffany style leads. And I bet you it has the basic subsonic filter, has your gain, subsonic filter, bass boost, which we won't fool with, low pass, and your master slave and everything else switch. And here is the master slave input, because this amp is strappable, all right, which is quite impressive for his first release. And let me tell you something, golly, this thing's got some weight. That's one thing that a lot of people haven't pointed out, which I guess they deal with these amplifiers all the time, so it's no big deal to them talking about weight. Now I wish I had a digital scale or some type of scale to give you an idea how much this thing weighs. All right, of course, here's the manual right here, and I'll briefly give you some of the specs on this. 12 volt and 14.4. The basic ones are at 1 ohm, 2000 watts at 12 volts, 2300 watts at 14.4, 2 ohms, 1000 watts at 12 volts, 1300 at 14.4, and 4 ohms. It doesn't have any voltage on it, which I guess it doesn't matter. Just throw some power to it, and it'll give you 700 watts. Not too shabby. If you're just wanting to use this awesome amp as a 4 ohm amp, go for it. And it's going to give you 700 watts of power. And if you want to strap it, strapped at 2 ohms, 4600 watts. All right, not bad. All right, doesn't really give a voltage on that also, but I would assume 14.4, 13.8 minimum as far as that's concerned. Frequency response is 10 hertz to 250 hertz. Low pass filter 35 to 250. Subsonic filter 10 hertz to 50 hertz. Bass boost, we don't really care about that. And input sensitivities is 0.2 to 6 volts on that. 88 dB is the signal noise ratio. THD at 4 ohms is 0.1%. And fuse rated at 200 for a single amplifier, 400 for strapping it. The length on it is 17.71, which, you know, is this way. And then 7.32 by 2.19. And the centimeter conversion is actually quite clean on this. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to convert it for you. So there you go. So let's have a look at the bass knob while we have all this going on. This is the reason, believe it or not, this is the reason why I bought this amplifier. And I'm not disappointed, but as you can hear, it's got the plastic body to it. So this right here is an impressive bass knob. And I do have autofocus off, so it's probably going to be a little bit of a blur to it. And you can go and look at some of the other high-end channels if this isn't good enough for you, and you can get a better look at it. And I'll show you this with the autofocus on at a later time. That right there is probably going to be a good shot right there. And this bass knob is quite impressive because it gives you a voltage reading, gives you a temperature reading both in Celsius and Fahrenheit, clip indicator and protect mode indicator, and a power indicator, plus the actual turn knob right here for your bass. Turn that shit to 110. So there you go. And there's the bass knob. Love it. Believe it or not, this is why I bought it. Because of that. You impressed me to the utmost with that bass knob. You know, one day we're going to actually have a bass knob that does it all. Just think about the days whenever you're going to have a clamp meter in that thing, and you're going to have all these functions, plus it's going to tell you what your wattage output is. Oh my gosh, I would actually pay extra money for that. You know, what if they had like the, what do they call the AM ones or something, the AAM ones or AMM1 from SMD that you can run the wire through and it actually gives you the real-time wattage going through it. That would be amazing. And I know it would probably be a little bit larger than this. All right, but that's okay. I would find a spot to put it, trust me. And still run off a Cat 5 line? Shoot. Yes, I would. All right. Now, not in this video, but in a future video, we'll come back and do a gut shot. This one actually appears to be in good cosmetic order. The only thing that's kind of weird, and this table is flat. It's not my table. I already checked. This one is, can y'all see that? This one's kind of bent this way. It's not absolutely flat. And I know that's a common thing with some amplifiers. Just the way they put them together. Just the way it is. And here's the back side. We don't have any bent up plates like we did on the Crescendo whenever we did the unboxing on that one. So this one is actually in really good shape. I'm kind of tempted into taking this off, making a template, and making me an acrylic case for this so we could get a gut shot and then do some type of inverted type of mounting on this with a swivel if I can swing it to where you can actually see both sides. Put me a linear actuator on this bad boy. All right, back in the day, I actually saw there was a car sitting in front of me in line. That's another story. But I remember that was the first time I ever saw somebody that had an amp rack. And it was sitting down like this, and his amps came out, and they went, and they flipped up. And I was like, oh, my God, I want that. And he was like in some type of Dodge station wagon or something. That sucker was pimped out. And I was sitting behind him. I went up. I was like, man, what power class are you in? And his amps were like stacked up. Oh, man, it was awesome. But anyway, here we go. Oh, my gosh, this thing got some weight. Woo, impressive. I bet you the gut shot's going to be even more impressive for a pleb like myself. Here we go. Down4Sound shop. JP23. 2300 watts plus of power. Oh, yeah. The Warp Core that's going in the Defiant. Happening right here. Woo! It's a craft of the mind, everybody. Go out there and have some fun and stay tuned for the next video. Oh, yeah, and by the way, the JP234, the JP 4-channel amplifier goes on pre-sale this Saturday for the same price I got this one, $299. This amp is now $350. The pre-order and the sale event, the holiday sale event is over with, so this one is now $350. I'm betting that even at $350 that this right here is going to be well worth the buy. I hope I'm not disappointed. I'm sure I won't be disappointed, but we're going to have some real world, hands-on, plebeian build going on with this amp, and I might even try to shoehorn in that Crescendo out there also at a later time down the road, or we might get another one of these. Who knows? All right. Oh, man, what else? What else is there? Stay tuned Woo!
Just one word. Incha.
Begin.